It's Kevin Keatsman Uncanceled on 95.7 FM, KCMO Talk Radio.
Good morning, Kansas City. Welcome to Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio, 95.7 FM. I'm Kevin Keatsman. Saddled in the chair, ready to go. I was listening to the weather update there. Is there any city in America that hits its average high less than Kansas City? I mean, seriously, he said this is the weather of early April. That sounds about right. Well, last week it was did it hit 70 last week one day, and then we got frigid cold. Forget the averages. We're so not average in Kansas City. We're special here. Feel special every day that you're in Kansas City and you're breathing the fresh air of the Midwest and living the good life right here in the United States of America. It is a true blessing to be in the Midwestern part of this country. We got a great show lined up for you today. Coming up in 30 minutes, I will delve into the Olathe Northwest story that has driven so many of you to call Mundo in the morning today and talk about our school systems. The politically neutral Olathe Northwest and Olathe School District, as they say, politically neutral is their mantra there. They don't choose sides. They're politically neutral. They, don't endorse these things. They don't whatever. Yeah, okay, we're going to get into that. And I thought the dad was courageous and the son to come in here today and speak with Pete. And I mostly want to focus on the shame of our local media and the way they're handling this story and how it would be handled if it were in reverse. Oh, my God. Like right now on Fox News, they're talking about the State of Union address tonight. Do you think if 100 Trump-waving boys at Olathe Northwest had crossed that basically a 4-lane freeway College Boulevard has turned into, to attack two kids with anti-ICE signs and get charged by the police for aggravated assault, do you think anybody in America would not be talking about this story? It would be absolutely everywhere on every channel. CNN 24-hour coverage. Live trucks in Olathe, Kansas. Trump bullies beat up ICE-friendly students. Oh, my goodness. Are we living a double standard in this country? So we've got that ahead. And we will talk a little bit about the State of the Union as a new poll is out that Americans think we are worse off. I'll tell you why that is and why it matters. We'll start today, though, with something that I've flipped. I'm going to tell you right now, I've flipped. I've changed my mind. I made light of last week, and I think Mark didn't really care for it when I did. I wasn't making fun of the World Cup. I wasn't, but I think maybe some of you interpreted that I did. That the state of Kansas had declared a state of emergency against the World Cup being in Kansas City. And this was the governor's idea, Laura Kelly. And she said, if we declare a state of emergency, then go into the House. The House passed it. So the governor's on board, the House was on board, then it goes to the Senate. And if the Senate passed that, they would then have access to federal funding for security purposes around the World Cup. But Kansas doesn't really have a carve-out. As we discussed last week, of the 11 states that are hosting World Cup teams, Kansas is dead last in federal funding. So this was her way to get federal dollars. And I said last week, I stand on the side of anyone that wants to help Kansans go get federal dollars that are already taxed and being spent on this anyway, just to get your piece. But Senator Mike Thompson is the sensible one in the room, saying, well, wait a second, what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And this is wrong. And apparently today's the last day that the Senate can pass this. And to this point, I don't think they've even taken it up. They're like, we're not going to vote on this. If they don't vote on it, if they don't bring it up, they're not on the record as to going along with Laura Kelly or not going along with Laura Kelly. Well, I didn't see it as a Democrat issue. I just saw it as state of Kansas grabbing some money that could potentially save Kansas taxpayers some money because it's coming from a federal fund. That's generally the way things operate. And Mike Thompson is a good and decent man. And neither one of those sounds like a great compliment. But you know what? In 2026, that might be the finest thing you can say about a person. Senator Mike Thompson is a good and decent man. And he's saying, wait a second, this isn't right to do this. And to give an example, there's a big piece in the Kansas City Star today on this. He said, quote, once we had a state of emergency for COVID, and she shut down the whole state, and she kept it shut down for a long time, unquote. He's saying this governor has misused the state of emergency in Kansas. So I looked it up. I just did a simple DuckDuckGo search. Kansas state of emergency. Do you know she's declared 4 of them in the last month? It's all she does. State of emergency. Wait, we have one state of emergency because it's winter. You know, it's winter. It's cold. It may snow. State of emergency. It's winter in Kansas. State of emergency.
Really bad winter.
Oh, it's been a horrible winter. State of emergency. High winds, cold temperatures, possible snow. Then, fire risk. It's really dry out there. The winds are high. State of emergency, fire risk. Then apparently there were fires in Oklahoma, and we got some smoke in the sky. Another state of emergency for fires. And then, of course, the World Cup state of emergency. The World Cup's coming. We got soccer coming to Kansas. State of emergency. Thank you, Mike Thompson, for leading me down a path where I would research this and find out that, yes, this governor's as crazy as we've always thought she is. She is a tax and spend liberal. And anytime she... You know what? Kevin Keatsman is live on the radio. That deserves a state of emergency from Topeka. Laura Kelly, Kevin Keatsman's on the air again. State of emergency. We need tax dollars to shut him down. He's in Overland Park today, broadcasting. What would she not declare a state of emergency for? So, yeah, I'm torn on this one. Yes, I think Kansas, if the money's already carved out federally and this is your only avenue to get more of it or some of it or be treated more fairly like the other states, I can see where she was going with this. I can't see where she's going when she says, state of emergency, it's wintertime. We got to be ready for special funds here and help. You know what? The Democrats deserve this. And Mike Thompson pointing out COVID is exactly right. They freaked everybody out on COVID. COVID was not good. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it was great. It was not good. But, I'm one of these dudes that goes back and looks. It is amazing. For a year and a half, we didn't have the flu in this country. I don't know where the flu went. The flu just disappeared. It was just gone. We didn't have the flu. We don't talk about flu deaths ever. How many people have died this winter with the flu? It's a lot, ladies and gentlemen. It's a lot. You know why? Because a lot of people are old and sick and have cancer or heart disease, or they're ginormous and diabetic and weigh 300 pounds and they get the flu and it can kill them. There's a lot of people that are vulnerable to dying from the flu. So COVID for me never freaked me out. But I only believe this, not because I'm better or smarter or know this or know that. I've been in the media. And I watched the Democrats just commandeer that issue and completely mutilate it in the media and freak everyone out and lock the entire country down. And thank you, Mike Thompson, for bringing that back up, that Laura Kelly shut down the state of Kansas when almost all Kansans were against it. And most parents didn't want their kids at home. They wanted to go to school. Parents knew right away, this really isn't dangerous at all for kids. COVID. It was dangerous for older people and sick people, but not kids. Laura Kelly was more than happy to lock everything down. She's more than happy to declare emergency for everything. And Mike Thompson's right now saying, and maybe he's leading the Senate. I don't know who is. I don't know who's in charge of all this. But if they don't pass this today, the money is not coming to Kansas for the state of emergency for the World Cup. And I say, congratulations. If you're doing this on a absolute moral high ground and saying it's the wrong thing to do, this is not what government is. One state shouldn't be out to screw another just because they can. There's something good about that. Now, do I think other states are going to follow suit? No. Do I think Democrats will ever do this? Absolutely not. But sometimes when we live our lives, isn't it enough to just do the right thing? Isn't it enough to somebody that maybe you don't like particularly around the office or your neighbor that you're not that fond of, you see they're unloading groceries in their driveway and struggling with it, and you help them with it or open the door or do something kind for someone because it's just the right thing to do? We don't do enough of that. We don't talk about that stuff anymore. We don't have that dialogue. And I haven't talked to Mike about this. I may call him tonight after he's done working or whatever. But when he pointed out, look, we gave her a state of emergency during COVID and she crushed us. You can't do that. for this governor. We're not going to give her a state of emergency for the World Cup. It's absurd on its face. Think about it. A state of emergency because the World Cup is in your state. Come on. But I can't think of anything dumber than a state of emergency because it's wintertime. I thought state of emergencies was, wow, we just got whacked by a tornado. We need help. State of emergency. That's what I thought that was. But as is frequently the case with dyed-in-the-wool liberals like Laura Kelly, they take something like state of emergency and will apply it to anything. Do you know why? The other thing is the emergencies in their lives are not emergencies in our lives. They just aren't. The littlest things trigger them and set them off. Oh, there's 2 kids on the other side of the street that have Trump flags. Let's go over there and mess them up. That really triggers me. There's 100 of us over here. Look at me and the majority. Oh, but there's 2 of them over there that see us that we don't like. Let's go get them. It's unbelievable what triggers the left. And the stories that follow and the way the media pour into this thing and the things that they do, it's really sad. Pete had great comments earlier today about the Olympics and how hockey has become something political. And the left makes it that way. There's no stopping it. When media outlets still give airtime or space to a post that Keith Olbermann puts up, it's not going to stop. He's not a well man. He's literally ill, mentally ill. He's sick. He's a sick man. And he literally has a metal plate in his head. I don't think people know that about Keith Olbermann. No. Sorry, Keith, your opinion doesn't matter anymore. Stephen King, you see what Stephen King, the author, said? Trump doesn't really have kids. He's a fraud. He doesn't know anything about parenting. Those aren't his kids. He's never done anything for his community or local. I don't even know what he's talking about. These people are nuts, folks. I'm not optimistic that if we just take the high ground and do the right thing all the time that it's going to work, because they control the messaging and they control as Rush Limbaugh used to say, the skull's full of mush in the schools. They're clearly controlling them. It's the school boards that are in charge. Those are elected people, and we're really crappy at electing local politicians. I think the state of Kansas and Missouri need to put Republican or Democrat by every name on every ballot. I think that would help. That would be a start. Nobody knows who to vote for. So what do Republicans do? I'll pass. I'll just pass on this and go on to the next thing and not vote for school board. What do the Karens do? They know who their Karen is for the school board, and they can't wait to get to the polls and do that. You want to send a message to Olathe? If you live in Olathe, if you're a resident, you got a mailer. Vote no. Tell them hell no to their $400 million. If we stop them once on money, maybe we get their attention. If we change the board in these school districts, this stuff ends. This stuff does not happen if you change the Olathe school board. It does not happen. It's not allowed. The teachers are empowered. The administrators are empowered. They're like, okay, the liberals are in charge. They're okay with this. Let's do it. That's our problem. 913-408-7957 is the number to call if you'd like to join us next on Uncanceled. This is KCMO. Are they going to get around to arresting the lady that tried to set that warehouse on fire a couple weeks ago? Is this ever going to happen? I know it's a Fed case now. We know Jackson County and Kansas City, Missouri are not interested. How did they know exactly who the woman is? They've got video of her and her license plate and her car. They know who she is. Are they going to arrest her? What's going on? Are they trying to find other people? Are they trying to work through her? I don't get it. It's time for her to be picked up. Crazy Karen in Idaho got picked up. A lady named Sarah George decided she didn't like ICE. She's being charged with terrorism. This is awesome. She stole an ambulance from a hospital. She poured gasoline all over it and then attempted to set it on fire and drive it into an ICE facility, a DHS facility. I don't know, with like a stick on the accelerator or something. I'm not sure I know exactly what she was trying to do, but she gave it a go, and it didn't work out very well for her. She's now been caught, and she's pretty much done. So they got her. We need to get our Karen here as well. All right, let's go to the phones, and here is Mark calling in today. I'm going to guess he is fired up. What's up, Mark?
Kevin, it's so irritating to me. I'm still trying to calm down from this morning. I had no idea about this kid getting hurt. That's just so sad. But you know what's sad is we're supposed to be educating our high school students on how to be successful in life. It's to meet life's challenges head on. And when you take them out of the classroom, you're not giving them the skills, the educational skills that they need just to compete. But what's really sad with this incident is they're not learning life's lessons outside of the classroom. Every action, there's a reaction. I took my dad out to eat. It happened to be when the Shawnee Mission North. I had no idea. We just saw by 80, 90 kids, and I thought, what's that all about? So we get out at the restaurant to eat, and as soon as I open the door, now my dad's 90, he's blind, he walks with a walker, but he's fired up. I mean, that's just the venom he oozes my whole life. So anyway, he hears this shouting, ice out, ice out. Kevin, the profanity that came out of his mouth, and it was like a boom through my body. It just hurt my ears. He said, let's go. He wanted to hop back in that car. Well, you know what was following those kids? And not that we wanted to hurt anybody, but you're not letting the other side be heard. They had 2 policemen in patrol cars and 2 police officers on motorcycles escorting these people down through Shawnee Mission North. Now, they're not learning life's lessons.
No.
And, everybody gets a trophy stuff. That's what you're creating with these kids.
No, they absolutely, and again, I blame the voters because of the school boards. And it would be very easy right now in Shawnee Mission or Olathe or Lee's Summit or wherever, for a school board to say, we're not allowed. The school board's going to convene. We're passing a rule. This is not allowed during school hours. Period. End of statement. You can't do it. We're out. There's no more walkouts from school. School is school, and shut it down. You cannot use our supplies. I don't want classrooms making signs and whatever's going on, because I think it's going on in the schools, which absolutely should be like against the law. That's using my taxpayer dollars to make signs for things for a walkout. No protest during school hours. Period. If you want to do it. I don't know why the school district can't say, this is state land, essentially. This is the government-run land, right? The government funds all of this. These are public. Why don't they say absolutely no demonstrations of any kind on any school ground? If you want to do something, go find a park in Olathe, do it on your own time, go through the proper channels, learn how the real world works, but you are not doing it at the school, period, no matter what it is that you want to do. We're not allowing that here. And they won't stop it. And they absolutely can stop it. And the other thing I was thinking about driving in today, Mark, and I think you'll agree with this, they're basically teaching these kids to never be serious at work. When you go to work, when you get a career, when you get a job, to hell with it. You don't want to work, just walk out. What if I walked out in the middle of this radio show right now? If I just got up, walked out, went outside and started screaming to the heavens that, I hate Democrats or something crazy like that. If I did that, you think I'd be back here tomorrow?
No.
I don't either.
You're 100% true. And it's life's lessons. Life's hard, Kevin. And they're not learning how. That's why America's so great, because we fight through things and we work hard to get what we want in life. I trained. I drove my hot rods. I worked. I went to school. I didn't have time for this garbage. And if somebody's giving me garbage, look out, because I've learned life's lessons. And they're protecting these kids. That's why we got Gavin Newsom. That's why we got this man, Donnie Fruitcake. We're going to head down this socialism road because all these panty waists we're raising. All
right, buddy. Great call. Love your passion, as I always say. And you are not wrong on many of those things. I feel absolutely the same way. And I don't know how we got to this place. We're basically just teaching Americans to not be accountable for what they do. It's okay. We'll allow your bad behavior. Just don't cause any trouble for me in my life. Don't bring it to my world. All right, so we've got a State of the Union address tonight. Donald John Trump, you may have heard of him, says it's going to be a long one. Now, if he's going to give a long speech, don't you think maybe he's teasing that it's going to be a little bit, I mean, at this point, it's got to be shorter than the other ones, doesn't it? They overplaying it. He's trying to downplay what to expect. Oh, it's going to be long and drawn out. Don't expect much. Look, I think he's going to focus on the economy and the border more than anything else. He's going to have stats that the border's closed. There's a few things that he needs to pound home to people. If the problem with the State of the Union address is most people that watch something like this, not most, 99% of the people that watch something like this aren't changing the way they vote. They're not. People that are not political don't watch things like this. They're too busy watching American Idol or something, and that's fine, or they're on their phones, and I'm not judging. You do whatever you want with your life, but they pay attention to elections about 3 weeks out. every 4 years and not in between. And those are the persuadables. There's nobody to persuade. It's all just kind of infighting. But I'll watch because I like it. I'm into it. I just want him to impart the one statistic that stands out to me more than anything else is the number of illegal alien murders that we've had in this country. Because it would really do this country a lot of good if we could somehow find a way for the crazy libs to stop on ice. There is no reason for Renee Good to be dead. There's no reason for Alex Preddy to be dead. These people made terrible decisions inspired by people that don't care for them. The leaders of the Democrat Party are more than willing, and they just keep doing it. We had another one this weekend. This Austin guy or whatever his name was at Mar-a-Lago. Look, they're not going to say it out loud. You don't think Chuck Schumer loved that? That somebody took a shotgun and a gas can and breached security at Mar-a-Lago, and apparently the dummy thought the president was in there and he wasn't, and was going to go after him or set fire to the thing or do whatever and got shot and killed. They don't care that these people get killed. They're useful. They don't care that kids may get beat up outside schools fighting as long as it's creating chaos for Donald Trump. And that's the key number you're going to hear going into the speech tonight. The one the left has already trotted out is a new poll. Look, we know Trump's approval rating is higher than Obama's was at his State of the Union address, his second presidency, in his second term. It's better than Bush's. It's better than Biden's. It's better than a lot of presidents. What they're going to pull out tonight is the trick question where you poll people and say, are you better off or worse off than a year ago? And most people have a negative view, period, about the government, which should benefit Republicans because we want less government, less regulation, less interference, less everything. And if people don't like the government, you'd think they'd like the party that likes the government even less than they do. But they've asked the question, are you worse off? And the polling isn't good for Trump. And this is why, if you wonder why they do what they do, again, they do not care about people getting hurt. They don't care that Alex Preddy's dead. They don't care that the guy at Mar-a-Lago got shot up by Secret Service. They don't care that the Butler assassin got shot and killed. They don't care. They just want the chaos first. And by God, if one of them could succeed, that'd be awesome. They won't say that, but you know they think that. Some of them have said that. Not really the politicians, but the crazy, Stephen Kings and some of the whack jobs, Keith Olbermann's, people like that out there that have wished this on the president. They're constantly wanting to cause trouble, have chaos everywhere they go, and they don't mind if they sacrifice some of their own voters in the process. If their voters get locked up in jail and can't vote, that's fine. If their voters get hurt, that's fine. If their voters get killed, that's fine. Especially the killed part. Because when somebody dies, they can make a martyr out of them. The politicians and the media get together and make a martyr out of Renee Good. Bruce Springsteen writes a song. U2 writes a song about Renee Good. It's just the same format over and over and over. So with all of the ICE nonsense, all of the assassin nonsense, we have 4 dead radicals. We have the guy on the roof in Butler, crooks. We have the dude last week at Mar-a-Lago. We have Renee Good and Alex Preddy. We have 4 of them dead in the last couple of years. And each time it's the same formula. It's sowing chaos. So when you ask people in a poll, are you or is America better off than you were a year ago or 4 years ago, a lot of people are going to be like, I don't know, that girl got shot. It looked pretty bad. I don't know, that guy got taken to the ground and they shot him. It looked pretty bad. They show that video. Channel 41 in Kansas City, they won't show you the video of the boy from Olathe, Northwest getting beaten with a stick or beaten with a pole by the ICE agitators at Olathe, Northwest. They won't show you that. Did you guys see this story? 41 did the story. They interviewed the dad, and they gave the dad the fair shake. He got his piece out. They were fair on that part. But then they never really said, hey, listen, the whole thing, according to Channel 41, was off school grounds. They never mentioned, the crazy leftists were on school ground, and they crossed a 4-lane highway, 4-lane road to go over to these 2 guys and start this nonsense. They never reported that. They didn't do that. And then they said, we can't show you the video because the owner of the video won't release it to us. Won't release it to you. I got 5 different angles on my iPhone right here on X. There was 20 different people that got video of it. It's everywhere. Channel 41 is lying to you. They can show the video. They chose not to in their story. They want chaos. They like this. Don't mistake anything about this. Quentin Lucas is very quiet on all these issues. They set a warehouse on fire? Well, we don't know what to do about it. Jackson County, what have you done? We're handing it off to the feds. They want the chaos. They love Karen setting that thing on fire. They love these kids at ONW doing this. They like the kids at Shawnee Mission East walking up to the microphone and saying their piece, even when they sound stupid. They don't care. They want chaos everywhere because it leads America to answer a poll question. We're worse off than we were. They only care about the next election. That's it. They don't care who dies for their cause. They don't. They don't care about any of this. It's awful. It's why I started the show today talking about Mike Thompson and saying, you know what, this isn't right. Declaring a state of emergency just to get federal funding isn't right. We need to operate on our own as a state and be responsible. And Kansas has a surplus. But we shouldn't declare a state of emergency just to get federal dollars that would be available if we maneuver this thing and do this. That just isn't right. What we really need in America is to return to the days of where more people did the right thing. We've never been a perfect country, but we've had long stretches where most people did the right thing, where most people in politics got along, where most politicians in D.C. agreed on really important things. If you don't think Democrats are out there rooting against everything in America right now, I'll present to you the United States hockey team. They're upset that Trump supporters, patriotic Americans, conservatives, and center Democrats are thrilled the United States won in men's and women's hockey against Canada, that they're taking pride in it. They're posting funny memes on social media. They're slapping backs with their neighbors. Maybe they go to work and there's a Canadian there and they're teasing him a little bit. No different than a Chiefs fan would do to a Broncos fan at work. It's the same. But the Democrats can't take any pride in this because Trump's president right now. They don't want good things to happen anywhere. I don't think they're all going to stand for the hockey team tonight. I don't. I think there's going to be Democrats. I know that the most radical of the Democrats are not going to be there. And it's a big number. It might be a couple dozen or more that are going down to the, I don't know which plaza they're going to on the mall or somewhere. They're going to have their own State of the Union rally. This is the squad, and some of the really, really radical leftists aren't going to go listen to Trump. Well, you know what? I'm fine with that. Stay out. That's better than Nancy Pelosi sitting behind the president tearing up his speech. These people are babies. They're children. And they're crazy because they don't really care about America. They don't care about policy. They don't care about outcomes. They don't care about growth, prosperity, safety, security. They don't care about any of that. All they care about is a Tuesday in November where people vote, that it goes their way and they get in control so they can do what they want. We watched for 4 years. What good did they do for America? They racked up debt. They got a lot of people killed. They locked the country down, crushed the economy. I'm trying to think of what they did well for 4 years. I can't. I don't know what good happened over the 4 years. And I'm looking at that objectively, not politically. I'm just saying what the stock market went up. Okay. Stock market went up because COVID crashed the market. So it rebounded. Inflation, interest rates went up. I mean, everything got worse for everybody under them, and they don't care. You know when they started caring? When Trump beat Kamala. And now it's like, oh my God, we got to tear this man down. We got to sow chaos. We need all kinds of trouble in this country. And it's a moving target. They're not dyed in the wool. They don't stick to one thing. They just bounce around and move around. Most recent one was ICE. They'll move off that. They're going to be anti-Iran. They're going to be claiming War Powers Act and all this other stuff. If something happens here with Iran, Trump's a king. No kings. It's coming. They'll move. It's a moving target. They don't care. Wherever it goes, they will sow chaos. And that's going to be the story. I promise you, if you watch any other media outlet, maybe even Fox News or one of the other ones tonight, they're going to be saying most people believe America's in a worse place today than a year ago or 4 years ago or whatever. And that's because we've watched Renee Good get shot, Alex Preddy get killed, another wacko go to Mar-a-Lago. We've watched the chaos. We've seen it. We've seen the infighting. We've heard all the nonsense, and people are tired of it. They don't really like hearing the fighting, but the only opportunity people have to get away from the fighting is to just get away from the entire process completely. And when you do that, you hand it over to the people that are most obsessed with these things. And by and large, the most obsessed political people in America are single white women, or just white women in general. Liberal white women are running the country. If you want to talk about white privilege, if you want to talk about white supremacy, if you want to talk anything, let's talk about white women. Have you seen the map, the electoral map from the election where Trump beat Kamala? If only men voted? It's insane. He carries like almost 3/4 of the electoral college votes in all the states except, you know, the ones, California, Illinois, New York, a couple in the Northeast. It's ridiculous. I mean, we got a massive white women problem in this country. We just do. And they're into it. And you know what? They don't have anything else to do. They don't. We watched Renee Good and her wife. What are they doing all day? What do they do? This is what they do. They go do this. They run for school boards. They run for city council. I got a mayor in Lenexa that's one of them. I got Karen running Lenexa. And her whole council's all set up with all her cronies. They're all the same. That's all they've got. They're not really great career political operatives, but they're really into it, which means they take the time, they go door to door, they get the votes, they find every single Karen in their group and get them to vote. And tonight at the State of the Union, I don't know how he brings the country together. I don't think he sways anybody. I think we're way past that with Trump. Trump's obviously the most important person in the world. He affects every country on earth. He literally affects things everywhere all over the globe. And he's doing good for America. For me, for the next 3 years, that's pretty good. But I'd sure like to find a way for this economy to pop over the next 6 months. And if we really could get it going and get interest rates down and get people buying houses and thinking about getting married and having children and starting families in this country, if we could get to a place like that during his presidency, there's a hope for us that we can return to something that was once great. And the family is a big part of that. It's a huge part of that. That's a local issue. That's a state issue. That's a national issue. We need that. And I'm hopefully he gets that done. But I'm terrified of what happens if and when we lose the House in November, that everything just stalls for a couple of years. It's one fight after another. There's going to be an impeachment. They'll try to drag J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio in there to put their hand on a Bible and testify and try to break them down before the next election. That's all they do is bust things, folks. That's their only game. Create chaos and break things. Hopefully, tonight's State of the Union will be a little more positive and hopeful than that, and maybe we can all stand and cheer for our hockey team. Wouldn't that be nice? Mark Van Sickle, if I asked you who won the Lou Gehrig Award for 2025 in Major League Baseball, what would your answer be?
The Lou Gehrig Award.
It exemplifies...
played the most games, right?
Nope. It exemplifies the giving character and courage of Hall of Famer Lou Gehrig.
Oh.
This is from Columbia University, where he was part of the Phi Delta fraternity. Lou Gehrig was. So they do this honor every year.
Big Dumper?
Bobby Witt Jr.
Oh, nice.
Has just been named today the Lou Gehrig Award winner.
I like
He's done a lot for ALS as well, which is referred to as Lou Gehrig's disease, but he does a lot of other charity things, and that's really what this is about. It's not about who does the most for ALS. So congratulations to Bobby Witt Jr. That's pretty cool stuff. He's a good man and a heck of a ball player. I'm kind of excited. I think the Royals might be okay.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking at those lines on FanDuel.
It's like 81.5. Is that what it is for the season?
I got to say over.
You got to go over.
Yeah.
I mean, their pitching was all hurt last year, and they won 82. Mm-hmm. You got to go over on that one. Okay, now the hard part. I like to challenge you. Nate Shieldhouse from Rockhurst and Illinois. It was the passing game quarter of the Los Angeles Rams last year. Sean McVay's their head coach. His last 5 offensive coordinators with Sean McVay have become head coaches, which just happened again with their offensive coordinator who took the Arizona job. Nate Shieldhouse from Kansas City has been elevated to offensive coordinator. Did Andy Reid miss the boat? Would you rather have Nate Shieldhouse or Eric Bieniemy?
I don't know if he missed the boat per se, but I was kind of hoping for somebody outside of the system. So that would have been a good pick.
So he missed the boat.
Yeah, potentially.
You'd rather have Shieldhouse than Eric Bieniemy?
Potentially.
Come on,
I want to
take
see
a
how it
stand.
plays
Let's
out.
go. I'm not letting you off this
Okay,
easy.
all right.
Take a pick. You get one.
I think for what they're doing, I still like Bieniemy.
So you didn't want him to go outside the organization.
I did at first, but now I kind of see what they're doing.
I think they missed the boat. Shieldhouse is 35 years old and sees the game in a completely different way. Not that he'd necessarily call the plays. Maybe he wouldn't take the job. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think somebody really smart, young, creative, different sets of eyes and ears would have been a good thing for Andy Reid right now at this point in his career.
I don't disagree with that. I also saw that they brought in Cliff Kingsbury to the Rams.
Yeah, well, I don't know if that's a positive or a negative.
As assistant head coach.
I don't know if that's a positive or a negative.
We'll
Kingsbury's
see.
never won anything.
Yeah.
He couldn't win with Mahomes in college. Right?
Yeah.
He couldn't win. All right. Have you ever had a mineral water called Topo Chico?
I have not.
So I didn't know this. I just assumed Coca-Cola owns this. It was something that they put something on that sounded either Mexican, Hispanic, or whatever, and they're just taking water down there in Atlanta and cleaning it up and putting it in a can or whatever it is that they do. Not true. You cannot get Topo Chico right now in the United States. They've got a problem with supply in Monterrey, Mexico, where the water is just too dirty.
Ugh. And cartels and everything else.
Everything in Mexico. Coca-Cola's announced it has to do with quality and supply issues. Yeah, well, you might have trouble getting things in and out of Mexico.
Yeah, the
as well.
trains are going to be a little busy.
If Topo Chico was your mineral water, it may be on hold for just a little bit. Eric Trump has announced this one. You'll like this, Mark. Eric Trump has announced the Trump Organization is building a new hotel in Australia. You know this story?
I saw that earlier, yeah.
Tell everybody the kicker on this one.
I don't know the kicker. I just saw the headline.
It's going to be the tallest building in Australia.
Okay.
Because why wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
Let's
It looks
export the
nice.
brand, baby.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool. And I've got another zoo story for you. You take these home to your girls and tell them the zoo stories?
I love the zoo story.
Zoo stories? This is a good one. For king penguins. I don't know much about king penguins. They look glorious. They got a little color on the sides there. 4 chicks have been born in the last month. It's an onslaught of penguin chicks at the Kansas City Zoo. For the life of me, I don't know why they put this in the story. The 3rd chick that was born, his dad's a deadbeat dad. Already left him, went on to another girl.
No!
Yes! He's not even out in public yet. Only one of the chicks is out to be seen. This poor little chick's dad's already left. We got deadbeat dads at the Kansas City Zoo.